Hello, Tyne! I'm going to start writing a new novel today. I always know that I need to start writing again when I start getting really upset about little things, when I've been eating really healthy and then suddenly I don't have the energy to go to the store, I'm only craving junk food, I stop taking care of myself, washing my face, or just not getting dressed. I'm absolutely covered in cat fur because I haven't cleaned up very much, and just everything has been going down and down and down. I have a ton of projects that I really want to work on, but they're stressing me out more than they're making me happy. I've been reading a lot of 7 Stages of the Path of the Writer. I think I've read it twice. I can never pronounce the title or say the title in the correct order, but I love this book. Link to this book will be in the description because this book probably literally saved my life. I get really frustrated with writing, and it also brings me the most joy. And I know that I've been wanting to start on this new book, and I've been telling myself that I'm going to write this book, but first I have to do this, and first I have to do that. And that only makes me more anxious and more uncomfortable and more stressed. So I hope you will enjoy yourselves today as I will enjoy myself in starting to write this new novel I'm very excited about. The working title is going to be Moonlight, L-I-T-E. And it's going to be about modern day witches and also about writers, and it's going to be gay, and I don't know the entire plot, but I know a couple of key scenes, and today I'm going to start with plotting that out, idea generation, maybe even get a couple of pages down. First, I have to navigate my room in order to get my laptop out and say goodbye to my cat because Pee-wee, who was always sitting on my chair, really doesn't like Callie.
Pee-wee, I'm gonna write. Thank you.
Then I'm just going to open up a Google Doc, type in my title, put it in a nice font that conveys kind of the theme or feeling I want to get from it, and hop on over to Pinterest. I have 2 boards. One is my character inspiration board that just has a lot of anime characters on it, and it helps me describe the physicality of what I want my characters to look like. I look through that for a little bit, and then I hop over to my writing inspiration and prompts board, where I get a couple of things like sentences and ideas for what I might want to include later if I'm not quite feeling where I'm gonna go, and just kind of get a general understanding of how I want everything to come together as what I want the emotions to be. I turn all of that into a new board, then I just open up YouTube, pop on some music. I start by just writing out some of the information I know, so I start with the setting. I want it to be slightly in the future, in Chicago in spring, so I can describe like beautiful rain, devastatingly gray, and cozy inside and frightful outside, those kinds of feelings. Then I, of course, need names for my characters. I've showed you my 3-color notebook in a previous video, and I also have a blog post on it, but I'm just going to go and grab the names out of it. And these are names that I've taken from all over the place, from other book characters, from bus drivers, from gravestones, and the names that I end up picking are Rainier and Lane. And I just give each of them a sentence of backstory. Rainier is a witch. His mother moved him to the city in order to keep him away from some sort of conflict. Lane, the lonely child of a wealthy single mother, started writing fanfiction in middle school. His stories became extremely popular, and so he started self-publishing and making a living as an author. And then they're connected because they both feel like outcasts, but they're outwardly very successful. I quickly type in a couple of ideas I have for the villain. I don't really know much about that yet, and then kind of the inciting event or plot is the next thing that I put down. Rainier always loved Lane's stories of magic and witchcraft because they made him feel like someone understood him. At a book signing, Lane immediately is intrigued by Rainier's odd appearance. He invites himself over and asks Rainier if he can help him with research for his next book, aka the first romance he'll release. I also write down a couple of symbols because usually if I don't include symbols in the first draft, they're not going to make it into the last draft. I just jump right into writing. I know kind of where I'm starting the story, and I'm gonna put as much detail and information in the beginning to set the tone and voice right now, so that when I'm writing later and I'm not in the mood, I can reference back to this to get a really clear idea of what I want the characters to look like and feel like and act like. A couple more things before I just jump into music and you can write along with me. I'm focusing a lot on the mouth feeling of the book right now, and for me that's less of like character voice, which is also extremely important, but more focusing on just how it feels in relation to the characters. So the book that I'm going to be self-publishing pretty soon, World War Marlowe, I wrote it a couple years back. You're pretty distant from the main character. He's a little bit of a sociopath, and you don't want to get too close to this character. But in this book, I want it to be very cozy, and I want that to be accentuated by it being spring outside, and really just you're up close and personal with these characters. And then I also want to flesh out the story world a little bit more and focus on different descriptions than I usually use, and so I'm focusing way deep down on the details instead of the overarching plot or anything, because since I don't really know it, that's going to come out in editing and kind of as I feel through the story. So this is really Nanowrimo at its finest, not knowing what you're doing, jumping right into it. As you might be able to tell from the bottom of my screen, I'm also doing a lot of research since I'm relying heavily off of Wiccan and a couple of other like magical religions in order to write this. I'm going to be doing research the whole time, and research is the #1 way for me to get inspiration. Inspiration never finds those who are just sitting around waiting for it, finds those who are working, and I'm always going to be working. If I ever can't think of what to write next, I'm going to do a little bit of research. I'm going to look at my Pinterest boards, I'm going to change the song, and then eventually I'll figure out what I need to write next. And so with that, let's write. Well, it's been a good couple hours since I started working on this new novel. I know the little bits of the plot just from thinking about it so far, and a lot of today has just been doing research on like Wiccan stuff and spellcasting stuff. It's been fun. I really enjoy writing this kind of thing because it feels a lot like just something from my own soul coming out. Like writing about being in Chicago and about catching trains and about wishing on things, even though I've only written like 800 words. But I still feel like that's a decent chunk. I'm probably going to write some more now, but I'm gonna go and get some more character images first so that I know a bit more what these two look like, and then I would like to have a couple more character objectives, but I think that's gonna come as I develop more of the plot, because I'm not really sure what's going to happen after. Just like, I have a couple of initial things. Right now, the POV character is running, he's late to go to the book signing for one of his favorite authors. He is Wiccan and he always felt out of place just in society and at home, and reading this person's books and things like that really helped him feel like he was fitting in, because the books are also about magic. And so he's running to this book signing, he thinks he's gonna be late, catches his train, gets down there, and maybe it's due to the spell that he cast, his not incantation. I don't know what the words are. I guess I'm gonna have to figure that out better. But he makes a genuine connection with the author, and then I know I'm gonna explain a little bit about what's going on at home. The author is going to show up and ask if he can stay with the POV character, and while he's writing his new novel, he's been having a lot of writer's block and wants to kind of learn more about his life, get some inspiration. I know what I'm trying to write, but it's kind of hard to put into words right now because I haven't written it. And then I'll have another like plot twisty kind of deal happen. Not really a plot twist, but just the actual action of the story will happen. I'm not sure what it will be, but I have an idea of it, kind of, and we'll see how we go from there. And I'm sure that as I write this first good like 2 or 3 scenes that I have planned out, I'll be able to figure out more about these characters and who they are and what they want to achieve and where we're going with the story. In other news, I can feel my throat getting sore, so I really hope I'm not sick, but if I am, that's great, because then I'm going to get more writing done. So, yeah, I'm going to jump back into it. If this is the end of me talking, then have a great rest of your day, and keep writing.